Are you going to do an intro? Or?
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Cam. And I'm sitting here with my lovely wife, Vicky. And we want to welcome you to the
first installment. Of our long-awaited podcast.
Yeah, this is it.
And we're calling this Everything is We.
Everything is We.
You want to explain why we're calling it that?
Everything that we do, you know, it's we. Like it's us.
It's we.
It's a we thing. And I'm gonna just be honest. When we first got married, Vicky would say stuff like my this, my that, my that. I'm like, hold on. It's us.
It's us.
It's we.
And this is the first time doing a podcast, so we're working through some of the kinks. If you're watching this, hey, how are you? How you doing? But if you're listening as well, if you have any suggestions or, you know, anything that you want to help us out with, this is our first time doing this, so we want to make sure it's crystal clear, crispy, okay? The quality is there. We worked really hard on this set and stuff, so we're really excited about it. Yeah, in this podcast, we're going to be talking about everything, because everything is we. So we're going to just be talking about our relationship, giving you guys, obviously you guys know us. Well, if you don't know Cam and Vicky, we are going to be explaining, you know, how we met and how we fell in love and how we came to be in this first one. But if you're not new, what's up? Hey, if you're from Life with the Logans crew or my main channel, Cam's main channel, if you follow us on Instagram, follow us on Instagram at Victorious Logan, at Cameron J Logan.
Don't forget the J.
Don't forget the J. But you can also follow us on at Everything is We, because I have an Instagram for that. We are so excited. We want to share with you guys our relationship, our growth as a couple, and hopefully that speaks to you in some way and can guide you through any of the relationship questions that you may have. And yeah, we're not just going to be talking about relationships. We're going to talk about pretty much everything, whatever comes up. We want to make sure, you know, that we help in whatever way we can. Living by example. That's what we do here. I wanted to use this first one just to introduce ourselves. So if you're not new, you can, you know, just sit back and relax. But if you are new here, Cam and I are preacher's kids. PKs. We both grew up in church. Okay. And so our parents introduced us. So we're going to explain that story and how we came to be. It's a great story, I think.
Yeah. It's anytime it's asked, like, oh, how did you and your wife meet? And we basically, like, it's a joke, but it's not a joke. We're like, it was arranged.
We were in an arranged marriage, kind of.
Yeah, it was arranged. And so they're like, what?
Yeah, and it worked.
I'm like, yeah. And I literally said that, like, yeah, it was an arranged marriage that just so happened to work.
It did. It did. We didn't even know we were being arranged until we had already kind of fallen in love with each other. And then we were like, they set us up. I kind of knew I was getting set up, but I didn't really think much of it.
I knew because...
I mean, I knew, but I didn't think it was going to work. Like, I didn't think that that would actually work, you know? I feel like we both have our own perspective on this. So I'm going to go first and you can interject.
Okay.
If you find something to be not truthful. But as I recall, I was 18. Actually, no, I was 17 when Cam's dad met me. So Cameron's dad came to my dad's birthday party, his 40th birthday party. And that was in 2009. I was 17 years old. And he met me at his birthday party. I was like, what is it called when you're like on a red carpet and you're like interviewing people? What is that called? I don't even know. But I was interviewing people on the red carpet for my dad's birthday. All his friends and stuff were there. And they flew in from different towns and stuff. Different cities. And so Cam's dad met me then. I didn't know who he was. I just remember meeting him and, you know, seeing him and stuff. And apparently he went back after that party and told Cam about me. So that was like the first interaction that I had with the Logan clan. And he let Cam know how good I looked. That was after my glow up. Okay. I got my braces off. I thought I was fine. You know what I'm saying?
His exact words, she was sharp.
After that, my mom told me about Cam. I guess they saw him at his parents' church. And my dad is a preacher. His dad is a preacher. So they were already cool. And so I guess my parents got the bright idea that they were like, oh, we like this guy. We're going to try to hook him up with our daughter, who at the time I was turning 18. So I was at the age to be betrothed, I guess. I wasn't allowed to date. So like I wasn't allowed to talk to guys. I was always getting in trouble trying to talk and date guys that I wasn't supposed to be talking to. My parents were like really strict about that because they were like, you need to be at marrying age to talk to guys because we want you to be, you know, able to make the decision, but also like you need to be an adult basically. So they waited until I was 18, and then my mom told me about Cam, and she was like, you should add this guy on Facebook, you know, blah, blah, blah. We know his parents. He lives in Chicago, whatever. And I'm like, I really don't want to talk to anybody you have to suggest to me because I'm like, I already know he finna be some preacher's kid or something, and I don't want to date nobody in church. But, you know, I ended up reaching out to him on Facebook. But yeah, we added each other on Facebook. I think we talked for like maybe like, I don't even know. How long did we talk? Like a couple months?
When you say how long we talked?
Like I mean talking on Facebook, like getting to know each other. Not dating, not serious about being in a relationship or anything. Just
I have no idea.
I just remember adding him in like February, and then we like kind of talked back and forth. I remember I went to the All-Star game, and you asked to see some pictures because you thought that was cool that I was going to the All-Star game.
I was jealous.
And yeah, I just remember a brief back and forth, but I think I went to college that fall, and that's when I was trying to be fast. Trying to talk to dudes and stuff, and somehow Cam, I guess he started feeling me by then. I think we had like one Skype call or something in the summer, and that's when you were like, hey, let me get your number kind of situation. Like, oh, we should like, by then I think we had kind of been going back and forth. I remember we had
already.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how long did we talk? Like, we used to talk on Facebook a lot.
We talked for like several months. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But how long was that?
Man, I have to go back to my Facebook messages. And
you have that still?
I think so.
Oh my God, the archives.
I think so.
Old Facebook
it takes a while for me to get back to there. Like,
would that even show up if my Facebook page is not active? Because my Facebook page is not active.
No, yeah.
That page is not active.
I think.
Well, anyway, so we talked for a little while, like a couple months, getting to know each other. Really wasn't even like on no like I like you kind of thing. It was just like, hey, what's up? What you doing? Like, how's school?
It was just conversation.
Blah, blah. Yeah, and we were just getting to know each other. I thought it was kind of cool, but not really. I was just like, I mean, I'm not really feeling him, but whatever. I wasn't really looking to date him at all, so it was just kind of like a natural, organic conversation. And I think
that's like. Let's put a pin in that because people legit like don't be believing us. Like she wasn't feeling me like that.
I did not think he was cute.
I wasn't really feeling her like that.
I saw the pictures. I was like, he's all right. I mean, ain't nothing to get really excited about. That's really how I was thinking. I was like, he's okay.
And that's valid.
I'm gonna just be real. I wasn't really into light-skinned dudes like that. But no, seriously, I wasn't really feeling him. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that you were a preacher's kid. I really wasn't trying to date you. I was like, he looks kind of nerdy. I don't know.
I wasn't trying to date you either.
No, I know. But we were not each other's type at all.
I wasn't trying to date you either, especially for who your parents are.
By like the summertime, I think that's when you reached out to me and was like, let's have like a Skype call or whatever.
I don't remember any of that.
I remember that. I remember our first Skype call because I remember looking at you.
You made that sound so professional. Hey, are you available for a Skype call?
No, but you were like, we should Skype.
He reached out to me and he was like, yeah, I think we should have a Skype call.
Well, that's what happened. So anyways, oh my God. If you're not going to recall this right, then don't be interjecting.
Like, you made it seem like it was like I was interviewing for a corporate job.
But it was low-key like kind of weird because it's like you've been talking to somebody online for a little while and then it's like you call them like to see their face. That's weird. No? Okay. Well.
What?
Anyway.
No?
It was just like.
Bro, because at that particular point, catfish was like big.
It was.
And I had been catfished before. Like, not like nothing crazy, but like,
You have been catfish?
like, yeah, like people was like talking to me and I was like, bro, I legit know like this is not you.
Wow. I'm so sorry that happened to you.
No, it wasn't like, no, I was in love.
You didn't fall in love?
Yeah, no, it definitely, right off the jump, I was like, let me egg this on. Like, I was in college.
Okay.
I was, it's like,
Well,
yeah, this is.
I remember us calling each other for the first time and you were nervous. I could tell you were a little nervous. Just because it's like, it wasn't like a nervous, like, ooh, like,
What?
I like her kind of thing. It was just
What
like.
are you making up?
No, I'm not making this up. I remember you being a little bit nervous. I was like, are you like, he's like, this is a little weird. Like, that's how you were. You're like, I'm a little
Wasn't
nervous
though.
I mean, not nervous like you were nervous to talk to me, but it's just like, it's weird calling somebody for the first time. You know what I'm trying to say? The first time you call somebody, like, see them, never mind. Anyways, that's what happened. We had our first Skype call. You gave me your number. He was like, we Facebook messaged each other and you gave me your number or whatever. And then we really started like texting and stuff. I went to college and then you would hit me up every now and then, but nothing serious. You know, we were kind of just talking.
Wait, what year did you go to college?
I went to college in 2010. I graduated high school 2010, May. Went to college August.
Okay.
So
you were in school then?
I was, what do you mean?
I'm asking, I'm trying to put the timeline stuff
You
back
hit me
together.
up in like June to Skype you for the first time.
Okay.
And then we start texting and stuff. But we wasn't on nothing serious because I went to college and was like dudes was like trying to holler at me and I was like, hey, what's up? Like, what's good? Like, I wasn't thinking about you. And then slowly you start liking me. I could tell you would like hit me up a lot. And then like if I was with somebody, like if I took a picture with a dude, you'd be like, who's that?
I don't ever remember you taking pictures with dudes.
I did. This is wow. So you see how I feel like every married couple has this issue where they don't remember the same things.
I don't. I'm not.
Oh my God. Okay, so I went to college.
You know me, but like
You be like, who is that? Like you used to do that.
No, it's okay. Because here's the thing. This is what you
Here's
would
the thing, Skip.
You would do. So that's true. I would hit her up often. It wasn't like, I don't know, like stalking type stuff. Let's be clear.
We talked.
But I would hit her up and she wouldn't respond. And then she was like, she would basically be like, my mom told me like not to be like quick to respond to guys or whatever. And I'd be like, okay.
I told you that?
Yeah, you legit told me that. And I thought it was
She
stupid.
did tell me that, though.
I thought it was dumb, but I was like, okay, whatever. I respect it.
It was playing hard to get. She was trying to teach me game.
Yeah, she was like, yeah. Like I would text her in the morning and like she wouldn't respond or whatever. And like normally I would be like, okay, I'm not playing this game. But like we had great conversation. And so I kept continuing to hit her up. And then she would post, no, not that she would post. She would tell me like, oh yeah, this such and such guy wanted to pick me up and take me to my dorm or whatever. This other guy, he wanted to drive. He was a security and he plays football and he wanted to. And like she was just saying like all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, like who is he? And like if you telling me, I'm like, okay, who is he?
Whatever.
And then when we got married, she wanted to tell me all these fantabulous stories about how
it wasn't no fantabulous stories.
You know, she wanted to be out here and all this stuff. Like
I did.
I'm like, okay.
I was ripe for the picking.
Okay.
But no, I was feeling like you was kind of feeling me, but you was like trying not to really show it. But then you was kind of like want to know where I was at because you would hit me up asking me where I was at. And I'd be like, why are you hitting me? I feel like the Lord was using you. I really do. You didn't know it at the time, but the Lord was using you.
The Lord always uses me.
He does. But he was using you at that particular moment to protect me from myself because I was doing dumb stuff on purpose because I wanted to be something that I wasn't really.
What were you doing that was dumb?
Putting myself in positions to do dumb stuff. Like I would be in dudes' dorms or go to their apartment. Like just because they asked me to, like I didn't even really like them like that. I was just putting myself in the position to do something dumb, but I wasn't gonna really do it. But I wanted to, but I wasn't going to. It's like I don't know. It was weird. It was this weird rebellious.
That's definitely dumb.
This weird rebellious stage that I was in. But anyway.
I'm going to keep it a buck with you, babe. That was dumb.
No, I know it was dumb. But I had reached a point where I had been sheltered and held back. And by that time, I was allowed to date and talk to dudes. So I was really just feeling the space. It's like guys, if you know what I'm talking about, ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Guys in college are just so like open to whatever. And it's like when you're in that environment and you're like fresh, like a freshman, you fresh meat, and you got all these dudes who'd be like on you like, hey, what's good? You like, I don't know. What's good? And you don't really know what to do with that, especially if you're young and vulnerable. You don't want to do dumb things, but you kind of feel like doing dumb things. I don't know. Anyway, it was stupid. But I can say Cam was the only reason why I didn't make half the dumb decisions that I could have, because he would hit me up.
My God.
The Lord was using him every time he would text me.
Come on, somebody.
And I'm like,
a ram
I would
in the
be
bush.
He was I would be in, I've told this story before, but I was in that guy's apartment. I went to his apartment at night. He had no shirt on. Like, he was just ready to go. And Cam was texting me. The whole time I was there, I was like, why is he hitting me up right now? And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to leave. Because he was like, hey, you want to Skype? And I was like, all right, I guess. And I left.
For those of you, let's be clear. For those of you that don't know what Skype is, think about think about FaceTime.
But when it was only on the computer.
Yeah. So.
And you couldn't do it on your phone. I mean, no. I don't think there was a Skype app back then, because you didn't have camera. You didn't have front-facing camera on your phone. So you couldn't do it on your phone. So I had to go home.
And Uvu, Skype and Uvu, that's what we was on.
Yes. So I had to go home. If Cam hit me up and was like, hey, you want to Skype, I would have to go home. So that's what I would do. And like, my friends
she didn't live on campus.
I didn't. And so my friends would be like, hey, we going to the club? And I'd be like, yeah, I got to Skype my friend. At that time, we weren't dating yet, but it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go home, and I would Skype him. And yeah, you saved me from some very traumatic experiences that could have happened, honestly. But
all things work together. Come on.
They do.
Come on.
They do. But yeah, I think after a little bit of that, you was like, you know what? One day he texted me, he was like, I got a crush on you. Like, literally said it like that.
I said, I kind of got a crush on you.
I kind of got a crush on you.
Exact words. And she responded, I kind of
got a crush on you too.
And that was around October.
Yeah, I remember that. That was around October. And then it was like lightning struck at that moment, because like from October to January, when you came to visit me, we fell in love within those couple months. Because I remember we was already saying, I love you back, before January even happened, before you had even met me in person. Mind you, this is 2010. We have not met in person yet.
We had not. So Cam made the executive decision that, I'm going to come meet this girl in person since I'm already in love. No, here's what happened.
It wasn't like full love.
Here's what happened.
We actually,
you skipped a couple important pieces.
What did I skip?
Well, okay.
I don't remember anything after October.
So,
until January.
Around October time, my dad, your dad, had a mutual friend at the time.
Right. Okay.
It was his birthday party.
I wasn't there, so go ahead.
It was his birthday party, and you had told your dad that we liked each other, or whatever, like however you displayed it. And so
that's not what I said.
And my friend at the time, we were down there with my dad. And your dad told my dad, like, yeah, man, like, Cam and Vic, they like each other, whatever. And my dad, we was in the hotel room that night. He was like, man, how come you ain't tell me? And I was like, bro, I just said I like her. It wasn't like we ain't like dating or nothing yet. It's just like I told her I like her. I literally said, I think I got a crush on you. And so then from October, after the party, things definitely escalated, because then both of our dads, who are very, hands-on.
Yes, they are.
They were constantly asking questions. What y'all talking about? What's going on? How's it going?
All the time.
Da-da-da-da.
My dad would literally be like, so you talked to Cam today? I'm like, yeah. What y'all be talking about? He's like, is it surface talk? He used to ask me that all the time.
So, okay.
Is it surface talk?
There's another thing I also left out. So in 2010, I graduated college. In September of 2010, I graduated.
You did.
So it was like a culmination of so many things had begun to happen in my life. And it was like, man, like, you know, stuff is like low key turning around. So 2010, I graduate. September 2010, I graduate. October, I tell you I like you. Mm-hmm. November, things start escalating. My dad and your dad was already like super tight. So then your dad was like, man, why don't you and your friend is like, why don't y'all come down?
Yeah, you came down for church, basically.
A church I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And we was like, oh, okay, when is it? It was like first week of or second week of January. Whatever.
First week of January. The first weekend, yeah.
Yeah. And so we went.
Well, let's talk about this meeting, though, because first of all, this is our first time seeing each other in person, obviously. So we're going to, you know, be feeling emotions in front of each other versus feeling.
Then I was definitely nervous.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because it's like you've been seeing this person on Skype via phone, pictures, video, whatever. We were literally recording like back-facing camera. Yep. We've seen each other in 270p at this point. But now it's like, okay, I'm gonna get to see this person in real life. Like I get to smell them, like their mannerisms. I'm big on smell. I don't know. I like smelling Cam. So we go pick him up from the airport. I had this whole plan, right? My whole plan was to be discreet with it. Like I'm not gonna be too cute. I'm gonna be a little cute. You know, give him a little taste because I can't give it all out at the first day. You know, I can't use up all of my cute points on the first day. You gotta build it up so that he really catches the spark. You know what I'm saying? And my mom also taught me to play hard to get, right? So she was like, hey, don't, you know, she was really impressed with me, honestly. I feel like she was really proud because I didn't wear no makeup to the airport. She was like, you're not gonna wear no makeup? I'm like, nope. She's like, I taught you well. But I did wear my pink sweats that I felt like made my booty look big.
They were not pink. They were juicy.
No, they were pink sweats. They said pink on the booty.
Oh, she definitely had on some juicy sweats and was
pink sweats.
I feel like she didn't have. I feel like she didn't have no drawers on. Cause she's okay. Vicky at that particular. She's not big now, but she's gained a lot more weight than she was at that particular time.
Oh, I was tiny back then.
And yeah, she was tiny, but like it was moving. I'm just being real. And I was
that
like,
was intentional. Very intentional.
She know what she doing.
Of course.
In the back of my head, like,
hey, but it worked though.
She know what she
Did it
doing.
work? Did it work?
She know what she.
Don't lie to the people. Did it work?
I like the way you prayed.
Yes, I did wear the sweats. But that day that we met, I picked you up from the airport. We went back. Cam's, y'all, this is how you know the Lord really wanted us to be together because there's no way that Cam would have stayed at my house if he was anybody else. You stayed at our house and everything.
Well, it was me.
Right. It was
me and my two friends. So.
Yeah. So they all stayed at the house. But we went to the house and like we went on a date. That was our first date. The same day that we had just met, we went on a date. We went to get sushi and we saw Tangled.
That was the first time I ever had sushi.
I introduced Cam to a whole new world. Listen.
And now I love sushi.
Yes. We went on a date, had sushi for the first time. I remember sitting down at that table when we went to go get sushi. And I was like looking at him and I'm like, this is so. First of all, when I saw him come out of the airport, I was like, first of all, this guy is way smaller in person. I don't know why I thought you were going to be like way taller and have a big head, but I'm like, oh, he's more dainty than not dainty, not that Cam's little, but
whoa,
but
whoa,
not that you were. It's just you were smaller.
Dainty and man just don't.
I'm sorry, not dainty. That's not the right word that I wanted to use in that sentence. But you were smaller than I thought you would be.
That's valid.
You're smaller. Cam has a smaller head. Your head ain't that big. So I was a little thrown aback.
Yeah, I have a small. Me and mom,
Yeah.
we have small skeletons.
He says a small skeleton. So yeah, when we went on a date, I was just looking at him. I was like, your head is so small. That's all I kept thinking. And he was like, he said something like, do you still like me now that you've seen me in person? And I was like, yes. But I really wanted to be like, your head is little. But I mean, I think I still, it was weird. I had to get used to seeing you in person,
Okay.
but the date was great. Our first date wasn't that awkward. I feel like because we had already talked before, we already had a friendship, so we already had some level of knowing who each other was. It was just getting used to the physical aspect of being with you in person. And then we went to the movies. We came back. We watched movies at my house on the couch. That's where we had our first kiss. He was like, "Give me a kiss," and I was like, "Okay," and I put it on him. No, I'm kidding. I feel like I'm a good kisser, so I was really excited about that moment.
Get Joby.
I'm a good kisser. Okay. Anyways, that was our first kiss on the couch. You know, we had a little moment. Sparks flew. I felt the sparks. Did you feel the sparks? Let the people know.
You know,
He felt it. Don't play.
it was a few sparks.
You knew it was fireworks.
Nah, it wasn't fireworks.
You didn't feel fireworks?
Nah.
It was fireworks, babe, because we kissed for like an hour after that. I remember going upstairs. We watched like 4 movies that night. But I remember going upstairs and I texted my friend because she was like, "How's it going?" And I was like, "Girl, like I forgot what I said. I was like, oh my God, like he's a good kisser, blah, blah, blah." I don't even remember. But I just remember us texting about you. So the next few days we hung out a lot.
That's so funny.
We hung out a lot. You would be like in my room and we would just be sitting there looking at each other. We weren't even saying anything. We were just like looking at each other like, wow, you're really here. It was a moment.
We probably said stuff like that, like, wow, you're really here.
Yeah, we did. You want to tell the people how you asked me to be your girlfriend?
So I had always envisioned that I would ask the person who I was, seriously considering marrying, I would ask their dad. You've seen it on TV, you've heard stories like, yeah, that's the way to go. That's the way to do it, so on and so forth. So I was like, all right, before I ask her, like, I'm going to be respectful, I'm going to ask her dad. I went, he was in the kitchen or something. I was like, can I talk to you? And he was like, yeah. He was like, come into my office. So then
my dad is very dramatic.
I think I went to the bathroom first or something like that because I guess I don't know, I was nervous or I had to pee or I don't know what it was. So I went. He was in the office already. And I opened up the door and he was sitting in the chair. He was sitting in the chair with his back to me. And so then he was like, come in. And then I came in, he was like, have a seat. And then I sat down and then he spun the chair around. It was the funniest thing ever.
Godfather style.
I legit was crying, laughing.
I think you were anticipating doing that, asking in person, asking my dad if you could date me. And I think he was anticipating that as well. And he was so excited about it that he really had to get into character. I think he really genuinely,
yeah, for sure,
genuinely was excited about that moment.
Sure.
He loved that. I think you had him at that point. He was like,
probably.
Yeah, you're the one.
Yeah, probably because
the fact that you even asked.
And then I don't even remember everything I said. I was just I just wanted to ask you first, if I could date your daughter or something like that.
That's so sweet.
It may have even been that simple. And then, he gave me his spiel.
I just remember I was sitting in the movie room. You came out and you were you sat down and you looked at me. You're like, will you be my girlfriend? And I was like, yeah. And then that was it.
It was what it was.
And it was official. January 9th, 2011. That's when that happened. On the Monday I went back for second semester, you left that day because I had to go to class in the morning. And I remember you went to the airport and stuff. When I drove off to go to school, I literally start crying. And I don't cry. Back then, I did not cry about anything, nothing. I was a hardcore, non-feeling kind of person. So get emotions out of me that was a thing for me. I don't cry.
She
about
cried
it.
because she felt them sparks.
I really did. I cried
Fireworks.
because you were leaving, and I was like, wow, like we're in a relationship, and I'm not gonna see him. I don't know the next time I'll see him. And so I cried, and I remember you texted me, and you were like, wow, I'm sad. And then we planned from there, and we planned our next visit. Like that.
We thought in our minds, we thought that we would be able to do it every other month.
Didn't happen, but
that didn't happen.
Well, number one, I was 19 when we start dating, and my parents were still overseeing my existence at that point. So they were still like, you know, even though you're an adult, we're still going to be monitoring you because we know that you're ready. Like, we know.
I may be
They knew me. My parents know me very well. They wouldn't allow me to go visit Cam. So I couldn't go visit him in Chicago. He lived in Chicago at the time. Did we even say where we were from? I'm from Texas, by the way. I'm from Texas. I lived in Texas. Cam lived in Chicago, 999 miles away.
So you're going to just say that you're from a state and I'm from a city?
I'm sorry. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. Well, I was living in Arlington at that point.
I'm from the state of Texas, and he's from the city of Chicago.
Stop.
Chicago.
Just Chicago. No, but he was in Florida when I met him, actually, because we were in school.
Yeah, I was in school.
But yeah.
Full Sail University, stand up.
So either way, we were never in the same state. So when we started dating, we knew we were going to be doing this thing long distance. But because I had never dated anybody else, I didn't really have anything else to go off of. So I didn't know what dating somebody in my own state was like. So I really didn't feel like I was missing out on anything at that time. I mean, obviously I was missing out on being around you, but I didn't have any prior experience with dating somebody. So I feel like that kind of helped me get through it because I didn't have expectations of seeing you all the time, you know? But I also feel like dating long distance helped me to cultivate a relationship with you because we didn't have anything else to do but talk.
Right.
And I feel like because I am like a touchy person and I communicate with my touch. That's my love language. I like to touch. If we would have been together all the time, we would have developed a physical relationship quicker than an emotional relationship, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect.
Because that's how
makes perfect sense. I have seen people around me that had, similar things like that, and I was like, man, communication wasn't there for certain individuals, and
right.
Even before I had left to go to college, I having dated, and it's like, you doing all this stuff and you ain't talking to the person. You don't really know like their innermost feelings and things that they dream about, and so on and so forth. And so like that's what really made me like fall in love with Vicky, is because like we had conversation, and it wasn't like stupid stuff. No, it was like legit. Like she's really, really smart, and like we legit would have like intellectual conversations. Right. And I had never had that before. But we were doing that before we even like started liking each other. I think when we first started talking on Facebook, our conversations weren't super shallow. Like, like, oh, you're cute. Like, I like you. Like, what you wearing? You know what I mean? It was none of that, because neither one of us looked at each other that way.
Exactly. So when we were, because I was in school and he was in school, so we would just talk about school, talk about, what you learning. Like, it was just casual conversation, but we ended up like really talking about deep stuff. And because we had similar backgrounds, we were both preachers' kids, I feel like we had like a very unique experience, because how often do you meet somebody who's also a preacher's kid and grew up in church? Right. That was another thing that really drew us together too. Right. Because it's like, I had never talked to, prior to that, I had only talked to guys that were like, girls always say this, but I liked thugs, like bad boys, like dudes that, for some reason, we find that exciting at a young age. It's like you want to talk to a guy. And really, like, nobody's a thug, like, at that particular age. But, I mean, like, I don't know. It's just weird. I just wanted to talk to guys that knew stuff that I didn't. Somebody was different than me, I guess. So I always talked to guys who were just on nothing, basically.
Like we in middle school and like you smoking cigarettes, like bro.
Why are you smoking cigarettes in middle school? But those conversations always ended up being real sexual for no reason. Like we didn't talk about nothing else but sex.
Because they know.
And I ain't never had sex before. I ain't never took my clothes off for nobody before. So, I mean, like those conversations were very short lived. Those conversations never went anywhere. We couldn't talk about church. We couldn't talk about my upbringing, who my parents were. We could never talk about like my feelings or emotions that tied to that. Because obviously that's where my experience is where how I grew up. So we could never have conversations about real stuff. But with Cam, I had conversations about real stuff because we had real stuff that we both experienced kind of similar. So we had that in common. I think that really helped us to have something to talk about. But even then, like, even when we were talking about nothing, it wasn't nothing, you know?
Right. I mean, yeah. And same for me, like me, you know, talking to girls and you know, me coming into who Cam was at that particular point where like I grew into who Cam was. Apparently I was more attractive to all the girls that I used to like in high school and so on and so forth. But, you know, I would try to talk to them and it was just like, they didn't understand. Like I'm a church boy. Like they would call me, I'm church boy. So, you know, it was either like, you can only talk how cute and how fine and cute and fine folks is for so long before it's like, all right, like we have nothing else in common. Like you smoke cigarettes on the weekend. Like I go to church. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
right.
You get to go to parties. I've never been to a house party.
Right.
You know
and
what
I think with other guys that I had talked to, I was portraying something that I really wasn't because I was trying to make them like me. So like, I mean, obviously, okay, if I'm cute to you, that's cool. But like, what else is there to do?
What else?
What else, right? So
what else?
So when the relationship started going towards that way, like, okay, am I gonna get in your pants or not? And I'd be like, no. And so then it just wouldn't go nowhere else. But with you, I could actually be myself. That was the first time, honestly, talking to you, I think you were probably the only person that I had ever really been my full self with. Because we weren't on no romantic, like, you're cute kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Nah, it was legit, like, pure conversation.
I kind of had, like, a little relationship before Cam. It wasn't, like, dating. But we were actually friends before we started talking, too. But the difference between him and Cam was, like, that relationship could only go so far because I knew. Like, I don't know how I knew this, but I just knew he was not for me. Like, I knew that he was not my husband. And I liked this guy. We had a genuine friendship. We talked about stuff other than sex, but we did talk about sex a lot too. That the sex we never had. But like, we actually did have a friendship. And we would talk about God and stuff sometimes too. But it was like, we could only go so far because I couldn't be my full self. Cause I don't know. I knew he wasn't the one. It got to a point where it was like, all right, we've talked about all this stuff we haven't done. So now it's like, okay, now we talked about it. So now we got to do it. Right. I built him up to a point where he thought he was going to get something from me. But like at that point I was too scared to go through with it. So I was like, Lord, I don't want this relationship no more. Cause this is going somewhere that I don't want to go. But I think with Cam, I knew at some point, I just kind of knew he's a good guy and I should talk to him. You know, I just felt free and open to talk to him like that with other people that I hadn't done that before. So, and I think of the fact that my dad liked you helped a lot because that fear was also in me because family is huge to me. I grew up very close to my parents because I was the firstborn. I think they did a good job raising me, but we had a good relationship. Like, so I didn't want anything to disrupt that. And I feel like guys that I talked to before were disrupting that relationship with me and my dad. And, you know, like I was lying to my mom about where I was and all that stupid stuff. So like with him, I didn't have to lie. I didn't have to pretend. I didn't have to fake nothing in front of them. And so I think that also helped because they liked him. And well, they picked him, but they liked him. So it made it easier for me to be free with him because I didn't have to hide anything from anyone. I wasn't lying. I wasn't living a double life. Wasn't sneaking around. You know what I mean?
It was crazy because she had the approval so heavy. Like my mom loves everybody. Okay.
She does.
My mom loves everybody. My mom is one of them people. She don't think nobody ugly.
Yes. No.
She thinks everybody's beautiful. Everybody's sweet. Some of the worst people you could ever meet. She thinks they're sweet and they're nice and how's my sweet so and so. But the people that she really know and love that do good, she be like But and I'm sorry if you watch this and you one of my ex-girlfriends. But my mom didn't like none of y'all.
She knew what it was.
She just didn't. And, I'd be like, Mom, like they're on the honor roll and so on. And she'd be like, I don't care. And she hadn't even met Vicky. And she was like, I just love her. Yes.
Yes.
And I'd be like, what do you like? You don't even know her. But because my dad was just talking to her, man, she was sharp, Cam. I'm telling you, man, she was sharp. And then we actually did start talking and started dating, and my mom was just all in.
Family is big for both of us.
Mamas don't play about their sons, and her daddy don't play about her. So, and then even with it was like the family connection was like there, and then like her family loved that I had a strong relationship with my dad.
Yep,
and then like my family loved that, like, y'all, from what we had seen, we didn't really know y'all like that, but like. From what we had seen, it was just like, y'all family's solid. Our family is solid.
There was no drama.
We knew, and my dad had already talked to me, just years and years of training, that like you don't want to come into a situation and stuff be awkward. So like if you're about to blend two families together, you obviously want there to be some symmetry and
right.
Cohesiveness. And it was just a smooth transition.
It was real smooth.
Because our lives are very, very similar.
Yeah. It was real smooth. I think the ease of it made it made it less stressful to date Cam because we didn't have no drama, like no beef. It wasn't no beef. So like usually when most people date, they have to like meet the family and all of that stuff. But right. we kind of bypassed that because our families had already met. So like it wasn't like no awkwardness in that area, which made it it's a smooth sailing at that point. I know that's not everybody's testimony, but that's how ours worked out. That's just how it was. And yeah, so we dated for 3 years. Well, yeah, we dated for 3 years. We dated for 2 years before we got engaged, and we were engaged for like 9 months. But it wasn't, the whole thing wasn't easy. There were a few times where it was a little not rough, but we never broke up or anything. I think our relationship was very easy, I guess you could say. We didn't really have any run-ins, like no like arguments, nothing like that. But there was a point where my dad got kind of, just a little antsy, like, okay, it's been 2 years, what's going on? Like he was really ready for us to get married, like when we start dating. But we had to get to know each other a little bit. But
okay, we're in a long distance relationship
the whole time.
I didn't have a job that I felt would be good enough to have a wife with.
Yeah. But to be clear, we was already talking marriage. Like
we were
right after we dated.
Yeah. We dated
before we even started
dated.
We said that we was like,
yeah, I'm
hey.
like I'm not even gonna date you if like you're not thinking about marriage.
Right. That was intentional.
So that was understood. It was like be very clear from the get go.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're dating, and it's like, okay, I had graduated college, but like I want to have a salaried job or a secure job.
Right.
At that particular time, I was working for Apple, and I was working part time. That wasn't no money.
Nah.
And I had that job. Thank God I had that job because that job allowed me to come and visit you and pay for my own hotel and pay for my own rental car. I had hadn't done anything like that ever before in my life. So in a sense, dating you also helped me grow up.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, I'm sleeping in hotels by myself. I'm booking them. I'm, event planning. Basically, every time I come down there, getting a rental car, I'm like, man, I can't get a rental car. You got to be 25 to get it. Well, Enterprise, they're like, bruh, come on. We take them coins. You just got to pay an additional. We just going to hold all your money until you give it back, because I didn't have a credit card. So I was paying for my rental car with my debit card, and they hold that additional 20%. So,
Cam was really out here like doing the most, because my dad was not having it. He's like, ain't no way you staying in my house driving the car that I bought.
My daughter not finna drive around in my car that I bought. You sitting in the passenger seat, lean back. Number one, I don't sit like that.
He literally saw somebody driving down the highway. He was like, I saw this girl driving down the highway with this dude in her passenger seat, and she looked at me, and she just knew she shouldn't have had him in the car with her. I wanted to come home and whoop you right then. But he was so serious. He's like, Cam ain't finna come down here using my money to hang out with you. He gonna come correct and show that he's really about it, and pay for his own hotel, pay for his own rental car. And I think Cam didn't like that, but also it, like you said, it did help you grow and develop as a man. You gonna be on your phone?
Sorry, my dad is texting me about something.
Goodness. But yeah, he was like, you ain't finna do that. So Cam came correct. And I think that's another reason why I kind of like was really taken aback. I was really smitten by that. The fact that you were willing to put in that much work for 2 years and not complain. Like, didn't complain, didn't make a fuss about it, didn't be like, oh my God, your dad is blah, 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 your dad. Like, never. He was like, all right, bet, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to spend my money on coming to see her, because I actually genuinely like this girl. Like, that to me was like, who else is going to, what other guy do you know is going to do that for somebody that ain't really doing nothing for him in return? Like, I mean, not that I needed to do something in return, but like, I wasn't coming to visit you by myself or nothing like that. So it was like, I don't know, like, to me that was really like, wow, like, he really liked me.
And even when I did, because I mean, I'm a man, like, I definitely felt some kind of way. I hate when people say that, but I definitely felt like bro, why is he like, he's being so extra, like. But I'm like, you know what? I get it. And then talking to my dad about it over the course of us being long distance, and as the intensity ramped up from your dad, my dad would be like, man, like, you got to realize
I'm his only daughter.
This is a big deal. This is his only daughter. He's like, think about think about how protective you are of your sister Lexus. I'm like, yeah, you right. That's valid.
Yeah, some dude coming to visit my daughter, picking her up and taking her places, and I don't know where they're going, and like that. I think you did a really good job. Like, I was very impressed.
Absolutely.
Because I know my dad is hard.
Because them Enterprise points. If I just would have, like, because I used to stay in the worst hotels ever.
Motel 6, like,
if I just would have figured out a way to, like, finesse the hotel game a little bit better, like, I would have been set. And if I would have known more about, like, credit and things of that sort at that particular time.
Oh, you could have had mega points.
That's what I'm saying. Like, amazing. I think about that all the time. I'm like, bruh.
We were still learning. At this point, Cam was only, what, 21? 21?
21.
Yeah, so we were still babies. It's funny to think about it now, because back then we thought we was grown. We thought we was really doing something, like we was adults. But we were little.
I mean,
knowing what we know now about life and stuff, we did not know what we was doing.
Okay. When you put it like that, absolutely.
Compared to what we know now, and compared to how much we know each other now, we did not know each other like we thought we did. I thought I knew a lot about you. I mean, I knew enough to date you and be like, okay, he's good enough to marry. But I didn't even know the half. And I don't think you knew the half of me either.
Well, yeah, because the longer you're with somebody, even in like a regular friendship.
Yeah.
Like, the longer you're friends with someone, the more the layers of the onion get peeled back. Yeah, this is how I really, really am.
But the thing about dating, even though you don't know everything about that person, you should still be able to pick the onion up and smell it and know that it's rotten or not. You know what I mean? Like, you should at least have enough information about that onion to know it's not a bad onion before you just go ahead and marry the onion and start peeling back the layers.
Or before you start doing marital type things with the onion.
Yes, that too. I think that also helped us to get to know each other better, as we weren't acting like a married couple before we was a married couple.
Right. Like some things should be a mystery. Like, oh, I wonder what it's like to live with her.
Yeah.
Or, oh, I wonder what it's like to
Because people
XYZ.
ask me all the time, like, how was it transitioning, getting married and stuff without living with each other first? Like, how do you know that that person is easy to live with or whatever? And I'm like, well, there's certain things that you should just know aren't going to work for you without having to move in with them. Like,
if you're dating someone and you have to live with them to figure out if it's going to work or not, I personally just don't understand that.
I don't either, but I mean, some people feel like they have to move in with them.
People do it all the time. Because I'm just going to be honest. Can I be honest? I'm going to look into the camera. And for those of you that are listening on the listening podcast, just imagine me.
Put your ear really close to the...
Guys.
Turn up your volume.
If I'm going to date you and you're going to allow me to move in with you, or I'm going to move in, or you're going to move in with me, there's just a certain level of like a certain level of comfort that I have now because we're living together. Like,
right.
what else do I need to work towards?
True.
If I'm living with you, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna be able to have sex with you.
We talked so much because we didn't have that physical aspect, and we weren't physically intimate like that, like every single day, you know? So, I mean, even though we was doing stuff, but it wasn't like to the point where our judgment was clouded because we were always on top of each other. You know what I mean? Like, we actually had to talk and work through situations that were uncomfortable for us because we couldn't see each other all the time, and because we couldn't be around each other all the time. We had to deal with situations verbally and like discuss things openly, even though it was over the internet and typing and texting and video and whatnot. We still had to break things down and problem solve. And we didn't have that physical aspect clouding our judgment. Like I said, it's just like we were so focused on each other, not physically, intimately, but like mentally. Where are you at? Emotionally, where are you at? Mm-hmm. Cam helped me to really like figure out who I was in a time where I was really confused about what I wanted to do with my life. I was in college, not happy, and not sure about why I was there, honestly. I felt like I was people pleasing. And so I was like, you know what? I think I want to drop out. And I don't know if I would have like really started doing YouTube or really started, because I had started my own business at that point, taking pictures and doing makeup. He was there that whole time through that whole process of me like really trying to figure out who I wanted to be. And like, you were like really encouraging me to take the leap to do those things. I probably wouldn't have done it if you didn't encourage me to do that, because I really valued your opinion, you know? So like, he helped me to develop mentally as a person, develop my own thought process and be my own individual, because I had lived basically on autopilot for so long, because my parents had kind of, you know, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go to school. You're going to do this, blah, 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 blah. But like, I had reached a point where it's like, okay, now I get to make my own decisions. I don't know what to do. And he was like, well, you know, you're good at this. Why don't you try doing this? Or, you know, you can have your own business, or your YouTube thing is really popping off for you. You should keep doing that. You should explore that more. Like, he was like kind of helping me to develop in those areas. And I think just by you doing that, and we was like kind of, you didn't realize what you were doing at the time, but it was really helping me to become my own person. And then you also encouraged me to start developing my relationship with God, which I did not have up until that point. I was literally like, I did not care. Didn't want to have nothing to do with church or nothing. And I saw how you actually like really cared about that stuff. And I'm like, wow, he's a preacher's kid that really cares about the church. So it encouraged me. And you were able, I think those conversations that we had was like really, it helped me develop as an individual and helped our relationship develop too. And I think that's super, super important. I think because some people like, they get so caught up in the relationship that they don't develop as a person, and they're always doing something to make that person happy instead of figuring out who they are in the relationship. You know, you were making me better. Nobody had ever done that for me before. I was usually always, I don't know, trying to please other people. But you were like, no, you should really figure out who God called you to be, not just who everybody thinks you should be. Like, you should be who God calls you to be. You ever prayed about what you should do with your life? And I'm like,
well, because at the end of the day, like, when the other people because let's be honest, the other people that have those opinions about you are older. Okay. When they're dead and gone, who are you going to be?
Yeah.
Ain't no sense of being who they wanted you to be. They ain't here. At the end of the day, it just makes sense for us to be who God called us to be.
Yeah.
To do what God put us on this earth to do. We'll be fulfilled. We'll have fulfillment. We'll be happy. We'll be walking in purpose. We'll be walking in destiny. We'll be impacting people's lives. People will be, impacting our lives, so on and so forth. Like, we'll be fulfilled in being who we're called to be. Is walking in purpose easy? No. But like I always say, it's always worth it.
No, it's worth it.
Like, it's worth it.
But I'm saying, like, I didn't even know what that meant until I met you, because I never had a conversation like that with anyone before. So you pushed me in that direction.
Yeah.
That's another reason why I knew you were the one.
That's valid.
We got engaged in 2012.
We got engaged in 2013.
13. Wow. Sorry. 2013.
May 25th.
May 25th.
5/25/13. At Benihana.
Yeah. We have no video footage or photo footage of that because, yeah.
Like, looking back, I was like, low key, I wish I'd had like an event planner, like somebody to set it up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he didn't think it all the way through.
He
wasn't thinking from a content perspective.
I wanted to do it on a.
You said you wanted to do it in front of
lake or whatever.
Yeah, at the lake. You wanted to ask me at the lake.
But I think it was like raining or something that day.
Well, first of all, that whole trip was thrown off. Your flight was late. You missed your flight, or your flight was delayed or something. I didn't get to see you till the next day. It was a lot that happened that day. I remember being very upset. Like, something happened to your flight or something, and we were delayed, and I was pissed. Because it was like one extra, like when you're dating long distance, every second matters. Like, we would see each other for a weekend, and like we'd have maybe 3 days, 2.5 days to see each other.
Yep.
So at that point, it's like time is ticking. If you lose 5 hours, that's 5 hours of seeing each other that we've lost out of the 3 months that haven't seen you. Yeah, so it's like I was pissed. If any little thing went wrong, I was angry. And then when you got there, I think my parents had just come back in town, and it was just a very impromptu situation. We were all thrown off. Nobody knew he was going to do it, so I think that's why we don't have no footage, because my dad was shocked. My mom didn't know. Nobody was recording. But it was cute. It was a moment. I wish I knew what he said. I wish I had video footage, because I don't remember nothing he said.
Because I saw somebody's video on Instagram. I'm rambling. I'm going to come back, though. I saw somebody's video on Instagram, and, like, he gave his whole speech, like, everything, like, set up. The setup was crazy. Like, man, I think it was even one of the ones where dude had, like, 6 or 7 different rings for his fiance to pick, and, like, she picked which one. Yeah.
Oh, he had money.
I was like, bruh.
Louis was babies. We was broke.
Yeah, like, bruh. Like, it was a stretch for me getting that stretch. You feel me?
Stretch.
But yeah, I was just like, wow, like, I don't remember anything I said.
Yeah, I don't remember anything either. I remember the lady brought the thing out. Well, first of all, Cam was going back and forth outside doing something. I was like, where is he at? Like, what's going on? And then she brought the little dessert tray. Excuse me, Benihana. Cameron has something to say to his girlfriend. And that's when I blanked. Like, as soon as she said that and set the little thing down, I was like, this is it. This is the moment. Okay, should I cry? What do I do with my face? How am I looking? What's going on? What's happening? Oh my God, he's proposing. This is the moment I've waited for my entire life. What's happening? What's going on? So I'm literally, if you know me, you know I don't do surprises well. I don't have good reactions because I'm a thinker and I overthink everything. So like,
she swears she loves surprises.
I love surprises, but I don't have good reactions. So nobody wants to surprise me because my reactions are terrible, and you never know if I'm actually excited or what, because I don't show emotion. So like I'll literally I have to process things. It takes me days to process things that happen to me when it catch me off guard. So if I'm not prepared, I don't know what's going on. So when he was proposing, I'm like, what's happening? Like I was so out of it. I just remember she said, he's going to say something. You stood up. We've been dating for blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, literally sitting there bug-eyed, like, what? And then all of a sudden you were on your knee and you're asking me, you're like, yes? And I'm like, yes. I don't remember anything in between. And then I'm like, dang, should I have said yes? Should I said no? Like, I don't, like, overthinking the whole thing.
What?
It's not that I didn't want to say yes. It's like I was thinking so much, like, what if I said no? Like, what would happen? Like, what if do I really want to say yes? Like, overthinking it, the whole process. I was not in the moment at all, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Glad I said yes, though. I wouldn't have said no.
Me too, because I would have been gone.
I do remember you being on your knee.
I would have got all my thousands of dollars back for that ring.
It was the moment. I wasn't in the moment, but looking back, it was a beautiful moment. But I wasn't there. I was out of it. Emotionally, I was not there. I remember it took me days to process what happened. I think you had already left and went home by the time I realized, wow, I'm engaged. After that, we were together for 9 more months before we got married. Wedding went by super fast.
9 more months. It was like we was engaged, and like I woke up one day and it was like boom.
Wedding day.
And all my homies, we was in Dallas, and like wedding day.
The wedding was interesting. Just because it was like a big meet and greet for my family and your family.
And the wedding was like 5 minutes.
Super fast. My mama was not playing on time. She was like, we starting at 5. We'll be done at 5:10. Reception. Be out of here by 9 o'clock.
My aunties and my grandma. And
they was late.
My cousins and them.
They missed the whole ceremony. That's her little story about how we got together, how we came to be. And 7 years later, we still like each other. We still together.
Yep.
So
three very challenging years of long distance dating.
But what's funny is when I look back on that was really easy compared to all the stuff we've been through now. That I think about it, I'm like, wow, we thought we had been through the hardest part. But it's not like our marriage is hard. Life is hard.
Right.
Adulting is hard. Dealing with the unpredictability of being an adult.
Yeah.
Is hard.
Adulting.
You're not a hard person to love at all. Very easy. Like,
I try not to be a difficult person.
You're not I'm very difficult. Cam is not difficult at all.
He's very easygoing.
He's very easygoing. Yes. Very loving. Very compassionate person.
Now
I'm a fireball. But I don't think I'm difficult in the sense that like I make life difficult for you.
No, you don't make life difficult. You just make certain things difficult.
I make situations difficult because I'm indecisive. But, I'm not like he be wondering where I'm at and, that kind of stuff. Like what Vicky am I going to get today kind of situation.
I got discernment. I wouldn't have married nothing like that.
But at the same time, we've learned each other emotionally a lot. There's a lot. The layers.
Yeah, that's a whole nother.
The layers.
It's a whole nother podcast.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, because we've both.
We're gonna stop here though.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed our little story time.
For sure. This is great. I can't wait for us to really dig deeper into
the layers,
the rabbit hole.
The rabbit hole. My mind is full of rabbit holes.
But appreciate you guys checking out this first episode, this pilot episode. It's not going to be perfect, but
I think
we're not looking for perfect. We're just looking for progress.
Podcasts are fun because you don't have to be perfect.
No, they don't. But me being a one,
yeah,
I want everything to be perfect. So
yeah.
But yeah, we had a little hiccup. We kept it going. We keep it moving. You get hit in the chin, you get back up and try again. Come on, somebody.
There it is.
We appreciate you guys checking this out. Can't wait to upload everything and get these clips and things of that sort going on the social media channel and social media
Make sure you guys
page.
follow us.
It's gonna be. This is. I'm really excited.
He is. He's so excited.
I'm really excited. This is cool. Okay. I couldn't wait to leave church to get home for us to do this.
Aw.
The lighting looks pretty good. We're still working out some things. But Vicky's happy that she can talk in the mic and she can hear herself.
Yes, I feel like it sounds so good.
I feel like a radio personality.
ASMR.
I'm not gonna keep saying the same thing 5 times. We love you guys.
Yes.
Can't wait to continue to take you guys on the journey, and we'll check you out on the next one.
Hey.
Peace.